All right, what's up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Want to give you an update. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and you could see all the degenerate nonsense I've been looking at up here. Pepe, that possibility as well. It's fighting back a little bit right now. We'll talk about it. Let's get started with Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin. 2 week looking bearish overall. I mean, how would you react to this if you saw it on a lower time frame? If you saw this on, say, the 4 hour or the 8 hour or even the 15 minute, pretty bearish. Money flow coming down, VWAP coming down. 2 week is pretty bearish. I mean, obviously here was something similar. Came down a lot. It did come down a lot, but then you just went right back up. So in this environment, I would think it would be somewhat unlikely to repeat that exact same thing, except if we do see what gold typically kind of does in recessions. Comes down, gold or silver comes down, crashes down a lot, then has a V-shaped recovery a lot of times in recessions. So maybe there's that possibility for that. Now, if you move on to some lower time frames here, weekly, your gapped RSIs are continuing to come downward. That's going to be overall pretty bearish. Similar to, I guess, you could argue, if it's like that, you got another leg up here. But really, I would compare it more to over here to the second one. I think we're, kind of been spent. We're kind of spent here. You had already kind of topped out there before you even went into the green in this rally. And a lot of things too. If you compare this to, like I was talking about yesterday, if you compare this to over here with Pepe, this was the Doge top. He came down a lot. This was Shiba's top. He came down a lot. I mean, this was also, I'm just curious about this rally compared to 134%, almost 100% here. A similar big rally upward. Then what happens? I mean, let's say we repeat something of this nature. And that's actually at this very similar level. Look at that. Look at that red dot there. Very similar level. Let's see what that would give us. There's your double bottom pattern. That's around where your 400 weekly moving averages. That's a big point. I would say, man, if I had to guess what we'd probably do here into the end of the year, early next year, I don't know if we're going to come down that quickly into July. The big moves do happen pretty quick though. I would guess most likely is kind of a double bottom pattern. If it's not a double bottom pattern, it's probably going to be around the 500 weekly moving average, around 13K into the end of the year, something of that nature. I'd say best case scenario. Well, never say best case scenario. Anything could happen. Never say best or worst case scenario. Anything could happen. But 20K is a big point to potentially retest that. I could see that possibility as well to look at. So that's what I'm looking at there. If you want my three opinions, my three possibilities there. Blood diamond here on the 2-day. I mean, it looks very similar right there and right there. This is comparative to like top of 2019. Money flow same area, blood diamond, you were coming down. That would be more of an elongated downward trajectory. Let's not count the pandemic here, but that's, into August, potentially double bottom there. Decent probability, especially if traditional markets get hit hard. Money flow coming out in the 12-hour, crossing into the red right here. You saw here, you did come down farther. That would be a trajectory downward to around 24 something. Also, fun fact, the head and shoulder target is at 24. This pocket right here, spiral line pocket, and you got a technical target right there. That's a massive point. 24K is just a huge area, and I think if that happens, Pepe's going to get destroyed. A lot of the alts are going to get hit hard against Bitcoin, Ethereum too. I think that could be a good target for next 4 weeks potentially. If it's a sell in May, walk away type thing, you could be at this point relatively soon. Maybe even in a week. If you break down quickly. But we'll see here. Now, at the same time, short term, you are forming somewhat of a double bottom over here. You're getting a, let's see, is this a, let's draw this out. I'm curious if we're getting a bullish div on our, this is how you draw a bullish div if you're not too familiar on the, so it's from this candle to where we are right now. You're supposed to draw, I mean, it could be a little bit subjective, but you're supposed to obviously draw it from the bottoms. And that would be a bullish div that confirms in 44 minutes here on your 2 hours. So that could give us a little bit of upside. You also confirmed a trigger wave on the downside in hourly. What I think is happening here is, you had your big move, and then you're kind of moving around sideways. You're forming what looks to be, as you can see what I drew up here, forming what looks to be potentially a head and shoulders. So that's why I'm kind of cautious to enter any long right now. I'm just kind of sitting in some shorts. If you guys are interested in some of the trades, exclusive TA by me and two other amazing traders, Lanacor and Crypto Bull Zone, people have loved their TA as well. Link in the description below to the exclusive Discord. It's a really great community. I think you guys are going to learn a lot there. So yeah. And, this, your technical target would be, let's just see. Let's do a little neckline. A little subjective here. But your neckline is going to be somewhere around there. So it would break down a little bit farther. And then you got this volume area low around there. If we could draw, what I want to draw as well, see if the volume area highs and lows change a little bit as time goes on. Let's just see if that's changed at all in the past, I don't know, a few days. A little bit. So, yeah, that technical target would be at this point. That's going to be 27.2 about. And, yeah, right around that general area. So if we do break down, 27.2 is going to be a big area to mark. That's like something, I'm going to make a new lesson on this in my course, but a little freebie here. That's something to do, I believe, like every day, every other day. Get a new high and low volume area high, volume area lows. Those are good places, especially when you're, kind of trending sideways in a particular range. Those are, especially for scalp trading guys, those are big. I mean, because we could hit that tomorrow, and then that could be a nice little jump, long tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. Also, if we get onto these lower time frames, obviously money flow is coming up. It does look pretty good, but I'm a little bit hesitant with the longs right now, given how the macro looks, given how bearish, blood diamond right here, given how bearish everything looks in other places. Now, if we move on to Ethereum, I want to move on to Ethereum just a little bit here. And money flow generally coming out. A lot of it is the same. Not going to waste your time too much here, but just wanted to take a look at the weekly money flow, gap to RSI is curving down. Forget what I was drawing here. The thing I've been really showing people, in terms of like these ETH degenerates here, I'm going to be one of them soon. Not yet. I agree with them on a lot of things. We don't agree on everything. It's kind of like Bernie Sanders and Trump. They agree on some things, but not not everything. I don't know why I brought that weird thing example up, but anyway, money flow in the red, potentially repeating this, into kind of summer, towards the end of the year, I think is going to be the best place to either convert your Bitcoin to ETH or start to just put fresh cash into ETH. I'm going to be doing both of those things. Not financial advice, as always. And if you guys want to buy crypto, trade crypto, all that, check out the link below for MEXC zero limit orders with my link down below. If you guys are interested, check that out. Also, for a limited time, if you deposit at least $100 on MEXC with my link down below, I'll give you 1 free month in my exclusive Discord. Just shoot me a DM on Discord with your UID, and I will get you sorted. Probably not going to be doing that too much longer, so check that out if you are interested. Really been liking the exchange. It's a good exchange, but as always, we don't know. Anything could happen like FTX, so be careful. Don't put all your eggs in one basket ever. These middle time frames, you do have VWAPs coming up here. I would say neutral to kind of, here money flows coming up, but your VWAPs coming up, so a little bit neutral, not telling us too much here. But you're getting trigger waves in the hourly. RSI is not too strong, but your RSIs are starting to curve back down here. They're gapped a little bit too. That would bring to the case where you could potentially, break downward from here. You're not really seeing that same kind of head and shoulders forming. Maybe as you're seeing on Bitcoin, maybe if you get another hump there and then you break downward a bit. I also want to draw out let's draw out a new kind of volume area range, fixed area volume profile here. And yeah, that area. So we didn't change too much here. That, 1760 is going to be significant too. This area is, I move around, but this area is pretty significant. Now, what we're looking at as well here is going to be, trigger wave. That's kind of the downside. A little neutral. Ethereum's a little bit more neutral. That is an ascending wedge. The ascending wedge typically does break downward. The majority, more of the time, it does break downward, I believe. Yeah, I do know that. A lot to memorize, but that's the case for kind of a double bottom pattern if you do break out of this. So I would still lean a bit more bearish on this market based on what I told you so far. So yeah, that's Ethereum. And then Bitcoin dominance here. Similar, let's just show you. I'll show you the most similar thing would be around mid 2019 when we peaked out there. And then when we declined towards the end of the year, look what happened here. Came down a lot. Bitcoin dominance, that would bring us up to 58. I don't know if you'd get up that high. My place where I want to start getting into alts is around probably here, hopefully mid 50s if we could get higher. So that'd be, in other words, basically, as soon as we see a significant pullback in these markets, you know, if Bitcoin pulls back to, I'd say at least 24, 22K, you know, those areas over the next few months, this comes up higher. That's where you get into altcoins and all that. That's what I'm looking at. Let's show you, instead of showing you, well, let's look at Pepe a tiny bit because it's topical. You know, here's, you know, you kind of hit this point, you reject it off at that point. You know, these are tough. You know, these will find a way to get you. You know what I mean? It generally looks pretty bearish. You know, money flow coming out, VWAP coming down here on the 3 hour. It looks like what my trade setup here will work. Am I taking it? Nah, but I think it could be one of those trades where you keep in for a while. There's going to be a lot of volatility with this, but I do think this could be forming a head and shoulders here as well. Look, kind of like that, and then that breaks down. You're right back at this point. This trade up setup I think would work, but obviously it's a meme coin, so be careful. Want to look at traditional markets a little bit, or just the NASDAQ. The fun fact with the NASDAQ too is on the 18-day here after the dot-com bubble, this is where you bottomed out when this came into the red. That was your sweet spot right there. It could be like that for Bitcoin. It could be. You know, it's one of those kind of weird things I like to look at, but if you did something of this nature and you came into the red, similar to over here too, but you know, it's different this time. You come down July, August, that could be a potential bottom if you come down significantly, that area. Also, let's take a look at the NASDAQ here. So NASDAQ right now, if you go on the weekly, we're forming what could potentially be a double top right here. We do have the CPI data coming out tomorrow. I think it's going to be hot. It's kind of expected to be a little bit hotter. We'll see what happens. Nobody obviously really knows. That could bring us down. I think we're kind of getting towards, you know, what we would see as a top. But can he come up higher and retest this area? Yes, 100%. If you look at the 3-day, maybe the next red dot will give you what you need. Another bearish div on the 3-day to potentially bring you down. It's starting to get overheated too here, potential bearish div on your 2-day, but it does seem likely that you would be able to form a full-on like double top here over next week or so and then potentially come down. We'll see what happens here. I would say the S&P 500 does look a little bit more bearish overall right now because you're kind of hitting the top of that same range right here and getting the bearish div. But can you pump up a little bit higher and form a double top over here with just like the NASDAQ? Absolutely. So keep an eye on that. I ultimately think if you look at the high time frames on both like the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, we have room to come down. You know, as VWAP's coming down, you could potentially come deeper into the red here. So there's definitely a strong case to be made for recession coming down farther. Anyway, guys, that's all I got right now. Check out also my trading course down below if you're a beginner, if you're interested in learning some really good trading strategies, techniques, risk management, all that type of stuff. Link down below. Discount code bearmarket20, evanaldo.com. So check that out, guys. Anyway, have a good one. Subscribe, like the video. Goodbye.